Hello, you startled me. Oh, this teleconferencing sometimes can be exciting. Can catch you in your skivvies, catch you on a little bit of face there. Maybe having not done your hair right or something, but this new world of teleconferencing is keeping me on my toes. And since I'm retired and cut back to full time, I'm now having to look for things to do. So I'm doing some executive coaching. Since you have come by, I'd like to share a few things with you. I want to build off what I said the other day, which is, hey, you've got this. You've been here before. There was the Gulf War.com. There was the 911. Remember that one? 2008. I mean, you got through all those. That wasn't by accident. You've got the instincts. You've got what it takes. So be confident. Now, I define instincts as being an unconscious confident. Let's go to unconscious competent. I define that as being, you do things right, you just don't know why you do. You don't understand the process. But under pressure, when the light's on you, you come up with the right decisions. But in between those times, you're concerned that if you've got the right stuff. Well, I want to affirm for you that you do have the right stuff. I want to explain to you how you have been making the good decisions. And I want to do that so that you can make faster decisions and do it more confidently. You can exude confidence among your people. You can make them feel better because they know that they've got a relaxed, confident leader. And you can also teach them how to be better managers. What I'm talking about is the Oda Cycle. Now, I've got some things here. I've got some high-tech technology that I want to share with you. The Oda Cycle, let's see. Oh, here it is. Here's some high-tech technology. Oda Cycle. That's OODA. Now, the Oda Cycle stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. And unfortunately, or factually, I didn't invent that. In fact, somebody crazier than I am invented that. Another one of my visual aids, his name is John Boyd. For any of you who like to read, this is really an intriguing book. John Boyd, to give you a little background, was a goat. He was the greatest of all time fighter pilot. He flew in the Korean War, but then was sent to the instructor pilot school and wrote the curriculum for Top Gun. He, among other things, developed the strategy for all of our fighter pilots. As the greatest of all time, he was known to have defeated all simulated adversaries within 40 seconds. Everyone bowed down to him as being the greatest fighter pilot of all time. When he retired, he went to the Pentagon, and he was hired by the Air Force as a civilian, and he became of great renown as a contrarian, as someone who could offend any general that he approached. His ideas were contrary to the Air Force's thinking, which was dominated at that time by the Strategic Air Command. And they wanted big airplanes who flew fast and who flew long range, and he was an advocate of the short-range tactical fighter. Now, if you're wondering if this has anything to do with management leadership, just stand by. I'll get to that. But John Boyd was the father of the F-16, the F-15, the F-22, the F-23. He was the father of the tactical fighter that the Air Force, that is the mainstay of the Air Force today. However, he was such a contrarian that the Air Force eventually successfully fired him. And being a nut job like me, he went into seclusion. And while in seclusion, he came up with a concept called the theory of modern warfare. Now, the theory of modern warfare, you may have heard before, is called shock and awe. Well, that was our fake news press trying to bring some negative commentary. But trust me, the Marines and the Army knew what they were doing. They were following John Boyd's theory of observe, orient, decide, and act. And it today dominates all warfare throughout the world. Now, although the Air Force does not mention him at all in their history, his picture, an Air Force colonel, is hanging in the headquarters of the Marines in Quantico, Virginia. They give him credit for the theory of modern warfare. Now you're saying, Loyd, what does that have to do with management leadership? Well, if you nut jobs like myself and other consultants and advisors sat around and thought about, a crisis is a crisis. Whether you're battling Saddam Hussein or whether you're battling the coronavirus, it doesn't matter. The reality is that if you have a crisis, you've got to be a leader. You've got to manage, and you've got to do it effectively. And that doesn't mean you make perfect decisions, but it does mean you make well thought out decisions, and you're progressively improving those decisions. Therefore, the concept of the OODA Cycle has become a mainstay in management efficiency. So what am I talking about? As a process of management, observe what your circumstances are. Oh crap, my customers have all gone away. Nobody's on the streets, nobody's in the showrooms. I've got all this overhead. Orient yourself to it. Don't panic. Observe what's happening. Orient yourself to it. Then decide what you're going to do about it. You don't have to be perfect. Remember, Ted Williams is in the Hall of Fame for hitting .402. That means he struck out 598 times. You, based on your instincts, have done much better than that. So feel confident in your decisions. So act on them. Then it's called a cycle. You observe the results of your action. Did it work? Could I have done it better? You orient yourself to that. Then you decide what you're going to do to improve it again. And then you act as a leader, as a manager. And then you observe the results of your action. You orient yourself to it, decide what you're going to do, and act. It's a cycle. It works in warfare, it works in management, it works in leadership. You've been instinctively practicing this for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You are a success based on the failures you've learned from. You have been an unconscious competent. Now, thinking of the Oda Cycle, what you have done instinctively, you're now a conscious competent. Practice it, promote it, have confidence in it. You got this.